Welcome back to the MTD studios. We've been taking a bit of a journey with Scott from CG Tech. VERICUT is very well known in the marketplace worldwide. However, we're talking about interfaces. Now, I've been with Scott for a number of years looking at some of your customers, and a lot of them are high-end precision companies working, let's say, in the aerospace market, medical, for instance. However, we're going to be talking about really that VERICUT complements a lot of these other softwares, and it's an interface that sits alongside it and really benefits the whole process. And I think that's what we need to get across with this video. But tell us how you work with a lot of these companies.
So important to say that VERICUT is completely independent of any of these companies or systems, we should call them. So a lot of companies, subcontract, OEMs have gone a long way into their CAM journey with these systems, but perhaps their simulation within these systems isn't quite giving them enough for what they need to eliminate any prove out on the machine. And that's what we've got to remember VERICUT's about, is to eliminate prove out and protect the machine. So what we don't want to do is, when we come into our VERICUT journey, is duplicate work. And that is the whole objective of an interface. If you've gone to a lot of effort in one of these CAM systems to create tools, to create fixtures, to create stock material, to create datums, these are all things that can be harvested from the CAM system and imported directly into VERICUT without duplicating effort, but still maintaining that independence, still an independent check.
I think it's a little bit like when I've spoken to a lot of engineers that they've been using, let's say an operating system like FANUC, and they go to Siemens or vice versa. It's that learning curve. But what you're really saying is that, don't let the power and the investment in the learning journey with a lot of these operating systems, stop you from actually looking at VERICUT.
Yeah, you don't. Again, you've gone to the effort of doing all this work in CAM. You don't want to duplicate that work in VERICUT. And that's what the interface is there for. And
I think on the journey of looking at some of these tech tips within VERICUT, when you look at some of the other models that we've spoken about, for instance, cutting limits and also reviewer, these are tools that are there to really sort of help you set the system up, set the tool up, set the actual machining process up. And you could have different shifts. They can double check it just to make sure, because a lot of people will be programming, let's say a job, and there's different shifts throughout the daytime and the evening as well. But it sits very comfortably with these systems.
Completely neutral, and that will, regardless of our recent acquisition via Sandvik, we are now owned by Sandvik, CG Tech are owned by Sandvik, Coromount. We're still an independent company, and our brand and our VERICUT is still an independent brand and will continue to be so.
And I think when you see a lot of the branding that you see from VERICUT worldwide, it's very linked to sometimes like a digital twin. We've done videos, haven't we, where you actually see the live cut and actually the simulation. But really, this system VERICUT is very much down for most engineering companies and very affordable.
Correct, Mark. That's right.
So when a lot of companies are actually looking at enhancing let's say some of these systems, let's say what can they get from you, Scott? Will you provide a demo at their premises effectively?
Yeah, we don't generally carry all these CAD/CAM systems on our laptops. We can't always demonstrate them live. We'll do our, but we have licenses for most. So if they really want to see that working, we can generally do that. But they just work in a very similar fashion.
And I suppose there's a lot of subcontracting companies that are actually pushed to the limits by their customers, investing in better machine tools, more sophisticated. It sort of lends itself to talk to you if they haven't been working with CG Tech.
That's right. So it's another, VERICUT is another process in the manufacturing workflow. So that can be sometimes, that's another thing we have to go through before we get to the machine. But let's think about where we make our money as engineering companies. It's machine time. That's where our money's made, and that's what we want to gain the most uptime from. So that's what VERICUT's going to do. But with an interface, there's very little work and effort to get VERICUT operational.
And I suppose that's the thing, if you're buying some of the best machine tools in the world, you don't want to be crashing spindles. Obviously, a lot of companies will know you for simulation, but there's much more within VERICUT than just simulation.
There is, as we've demonstrated with some of these technical corners.